Hello, it's James, and I'm back in the shop again. Stay tuned. Hopefully you've been following along while I rebuild my shop. If not, you can find some links to some other videos down in the description that'll catch you up. But today I'm going to start doing the final modifications on my X-Carve CNC machine, which I have upgraded to the CNC4Newbie Ultimate Upgrade machine. So here's where we're going to start. So this is the setup that I've been filming along the way. I have the Opt Lasers 6-watt laser head mounted to my spindle, and I have the new dust shoe from Kent CNC, and I haven't actually cut anything with the router on this CNC machine yet, because during the move, the movers lost the pole that holds up the dust collection, and I had to order new ones. So today I'm going to be getting ready to do the final thing I've been wanting to do, which is put a new wasteboard with T-slots in this wasteboard, spoilboard. And when I say I've been wanting to do this for a long time, let me explain. I've had a X-Carve for over 2 years. I've made hundreds of things on it and have been mostly very pleased with the way things turned out. But I was always maxed out as to how thick a material I could get into the machine, because once you put a bit in the router, of course, it closes the distance. And so my max distance I could cut most of the time was about 1.25 inches. So I could not put a new spoilboard on top of the other spoilboard or wasteboard, because that would have closed the distance too narrow. But now with this CNC4Newbie Z-axis, I don't know, I think there's 6 or 7 inches of movement there. So now I can put a 1/2 inch spoilboard onto this regular board, and then if I scuff it up or cut it up, I can replace it and go back into business. So I just wanted to explain. And so yesterday I put a 1/8 inch drill bit into my spindle, and I homed the machine and I lowered it down until it would drill a hole. And so that is the actual home position after doing the CNC4Newbie upgrade. And then I brought the machine all the way over X-wise to as far as I dared go without letting my laser crash into this rail if I unexpectedly leave it on. So I'm trying to be ultra safe. So I brought it as far as I dared, and I drilled another hole. And then I brought it as far as I could on the Y and drilled it. Where is it? Drilled a hole right there. And that is as far as I'm going to go with the Y because of my dust collection. It could go probably, another 100 millimeters or so. But of course, put another hole over there. And so I've measured between all these holes, and I have 880 millimeters of travel for the X axis, and I have 760 millimeters of travel for the Y axis that I'm comfortable with. It could go bigger. So it could go bigger, and if I find out later on that I need to do projects that require more space, maybe I'll adjust these things a little bit bigger. But then what I did is I went into my Gerbil settings in my easel software, and I reset the X travel to its proper boundary now, which is 880 millimeters, and I reset the Y setting to go 760 meters. And so I tested that, and when I tried to exceed it, I got an out of bounds warning, and my machine is totally safe. So the 760 millimeters of Y travel from front to back is roughly 29 plus inches. So I'm going to be making my new spoilboard significantly bigger than that, probably 32 inches, but here's what I'm going to do. A 4x8 sheet of MDF 1/2 inch is pretty heavy, and it's pretty expensive where I live. It's over $50. But these 4x4s that are 8 feet long were only $8. So 8 feet if I cut into 3 pieces is 32 inches. And then I can cut 3 of these into 9 pieces to put across. So instead of buying T-tracks to go in between, what I'm going to do is take these boards over to the table saw, and I'm going to cut a rabbet out of each side so that when I put these together with a 1/4 of an inch gap in between, I'll have a T-slot. And then I can use regular hex bolts, or I can use T-bolts to slide along and do my clamping. And yes, this is a painted surface, but once I surface this, I'm going to take about a 32nd of an inch off after I get these all mounted to make sure that everything is flat to the Z-axis. Once I take all that paint off, it won't look so ridiculous. So hopefully you're following along and understand what I'm going to do, but I'm going to get started shortly. So I purchased a new Hercules sliding miter saw at Lowe's the other day, and I'm going to be making a dedicated miter saw station with flip-up wings like you've seen other people do, because I need everything in the shop to be mobile and be as small as possible. So that'll be coming up. So trying to make room on this bench to do everything I have to do is getting more and more difficult. I will be doing a review of this miter saw sometime soon. It looks like it's going to be great. Okay, like I said, I'll be using 1/4 inch bolts for hold downs. So I need to have it up half of that, about there. And the thickness of the head of that is about there. And I'm going to test this using some scrap wood, just to make sure I don't goof up my MDF baseboard here. I got my base camp mask on. So this will be my T-track in my wasteboard. Hex bolt will slide right through there. I might not actually take off that much in that direction. It's a little bit of a loose fit, but I will adjust that for the next cuts, and then I will be drilling holes into the baseboards, countersunk, and I'll be using number 6 3/4 flathead screws to screw everything down, and then eventually use a router bit to surface the whole new wasteboard, spoilboard. I don't know, which is it? Tell me in the comments. Is it a wasteboard or a spoilboard? I've got all of the pieces of MDF screwed in. Of course, I had to cut one in half to be the beginning and the end one. And I've just measured, and I have 34 inches of Y travel and 32 inches, of X travel and 32 inches of Y travel. So I'm mounting a 3/4 inch straight bit. Where is it? There it is, in my router. And I'm gonna go in and program a 32 by 34 inch square and drop this down about 3/64 of an inch and see how flat we get it. I'm very pleased with the way these bolts move and they don't twist. Yeah, so that method worked out really great. There's a couple of spots where they're a little tight, but as I painted the edges too with a gloss, I sprayed paint on them. And what I was hoping for that to do is, number one, I didn't want to see the white edge in between here. And number two, I was thinking the paint might make that cut surface a little slicker. So we'll see how that works. But yes, in a couple of spots, it's a little bit tight, but it'll work its way out. So next job is to surface it. So I'll be back. So I have programmed a 34 by 32 square to surface the top of this. I've attached the dust shoe. I've zeroed it out. I'll start the dust collection. I put the cover on the laser mounting position to keep all the dust out of there. And we'll see how this works. I'll go start the vacuum and then come back and start the program. Okay, so here's the first problem. Even though I think I mentioned that I told in the Gerbil settings that my X-axis was 880 millimeters and my Y-axis was 760 meters, the V-carve that I did to surface the top was 879 millimeters by 759 meters, so that I did not exceed the bounds. And since I'm using a 3/4 inch router bit, it should have exceeded, it should have come past the edge. Now, here's what it did. It didn't get anywhere near the 880, and then it stopped way short on the Y-axis, and I don't know why that is. So I'm going to be doing some experimenting and finding out if light burn changed my Gerbil settings or just what's what, because Easel from Inventables can't seem to handle that file on a CNC4Newbie machine. So stand by. So I don't have a real full explanation as to how I got this working. What I thought was that since the Lightburn software worked with the CNC4Newbie stepper motors, everything worked correctly. Easel maybe didn't work well in inches because I've been doing Lightburn in just millimeters. So I went back into Easel and I created that same project in millimeters and started it up, and everything worked. So I will keep a running total of what I'm finding out about this, because I talked to people on YouTube and they said I had to start using PickSender and download different post processors, which I did, and I tried downloading the V-carve post processor for Easel and ran the same thing, and it didn't work. So as long as I can proceed from here, I'll keep you all updated as to what I find, but it looks like I'm going to have to learn the software called PickSender. All right, here is the final result. I don't know why I sanded a little bit here with my sander, because it left a little bit of an edge. It did not overcut this edge, and it did not overcut that edge. I expected that on the back. But I gotta say, I've had an X-Carve. Let me flip the camera around. So like I said earlier, I've had the X-Carve for a little over 2 years, made hundreds of things, pleased a lot of people, made some money, paid for the X-Carve. But the quality of this upgrade to the CNC4Newbie Ultimate Upgrade is just outstanding. The smoothness with which it cuts, no chatter, nothing's flexing, there's no belts. I can't wait to see what I can do with a 3D carving coming up. But anyway, any of you out there considering upgrading your X-Carve, I don't think you'll have to go to the X-Carve Pro. check out the CNC4Newbie Ultimate Upgrade. It's worth every freaking penny. So thank you for getting through this with me. Thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button like you always do, and hit the, the like button like you always do. If you haven't yet, click the subscribe button and then hit the little bell so you know when the next video comes up, because the next one's going to be cool. The next one is I'm going to combine the OptLaser's performance with the CNC4Newbie on a project I've been waiting to do for a long time. I need both of these things to do it, and I can't wait to present it for you. So come back soon. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.